Now, depending on how bright or how dark you want it, you can have a really dark, I mean, again, I'm using adjectives, but you'll figure it out eventually when you try it yourself. That, you have a microphone, right? And you place it closer to the bridge, it's going to be darker. Okay. You place it closer to the neck, it's going to be brighter. Okay. Don't ever do this. Like I see this all the time. You see some dude singing with an acoustic guitar and sound wale bhaiya, return of the sound wale bhaiya, and he does this. Don't do that, please. All right. The problem with that is that, yes, this is where the sound comes out of, but also because this is where the sound comes out of, there's like a weird sort of boom, like a hum sort of a thing that generates, right? So it's like putting a microphone inside it. That's where all the sound is like, getting together. So there'll be like this collection of sound that's just going to create feedback. Yes, Pratik, you're right. It's going to clip. And if there is something that audio engineers are scared of, that's clipping, right? Because clipping creates a feedback loop. And don't get me wrong, clipping is what has given us the most beautiful sounds. Clips are like distortion, right? And Jimi Hendrix messed around with clipping a lot. And that is what created the entire rock guitar sound. But that was analog equipment. We record on digital now. And digital cannot, it just goes crazy, right? Also, the circuitry of the board clips. Very important. The microphone never clips. Don't clip the microphone. The capsule is going to go crazy. Right? Especially condenser microphones, it's a big no-no. You might even blow up the capsule, right? So yeah, please don't be sound wale bhaiya, right? Just do this, right? Or do that, depending on what you need. Mono miking, it's like very simple. Like, I don't even think that we should be discussing mono miking in a class like this, right? Okay, the next step, stereo miking. Spaced pair. All right, so one part of the pair is going to be here. The other one is going to be on the 12th fret. Okay, this is the 12th fret. There are no dots here, but believe me, this is what it is. I'm not lying to you. So what happens on the 12th fret? Does anybody know what happens to a guitar on the 12th fret? I'm going to wait for an answer. Octaves, correct. So an octave in terms of a frequency is a point where a frequency doubles itself, exactly where it doubles itself. All right. So wherever the frequency doubles itself with respect to the length of a string, it's going to divide the string into the equal half. All right. So this is the half or the midpoint of every string on your guitar. And because it's the midpoint, it gives you like these beautiful harmonics. Right. So even if you do play, right, so you get like this sound, but also when I'm playing, there are still like sub harmonics happening, right? And we can sit down, we can talk about the overtone series and stuff like that, but that's not what I want to do right now, right? I mean, you're free to like message me later and we can talk about this stuff. But so there are always something what we call sub harmonics that are happening, right? And even when I'm playing this, if you think I'm just playing one chord, you're wrong. There's like a lot of other things that are happening around that one chord, right? And in order to pick up all the sweet harmonics that are happening with every note that I play, I'm going to put the mic on the 12th fret. Okay, so a spaced pair. So like one microphone is here and the other is here, right? So that's how I'm going to do a spaced pair. Another important thing to note is that some people like to just randomly put a microphone on the neck, on the guitar neck. All right. And I once asked this dude, so this guy was engineering for me, and I was like, why are you doing that? He's like, oh, just to get the sound of the strings. I was like, yeah, you're getting that here. He's like, no, the finger's moving on the strings. So basically, he wanted to record all the chun that happens while playing the acoustic guitar. He thought that, he thinks that this is the sound of an acoustic guitar, which is fine. It is to some people. And yes, if I am going for that sound, the reason why I bring it up is because nothing is wrong. Okay, if that is the sound you're going for, that's where you need to put the mic. If you want this, put the mic on the neck. All right. But I don't know why you would want that, unless you're playing Rage Against the Machine, where all of that is fine, right? Yeah. So that's mono miking, but that's not why we're here, right? Because that everybody already knows how to do. Let's talk about stereo miking. How do you stereo mic an acoustic guitar? All the techniques that I told you, XY, bloom line, mid side, All of them work. My favorite, the one that I default to, is XY or Bloomline. Okay, so XY, I usually, my combinations of my microphones can be like anything, like, you know, like a U47 by Neumann or AKG 414s. But I'm going to XY here, this, at this point. So let me just demonstrate that. So that's my XY, right? And it's going to be pointed here towards the point where my neck ends and the sound hole begins. So that's where the XY is going to be pointed towards. All right. Then the other one is you can do like a Bloomline again here. So like this is the spot where I tend to mic acoustic guitars. All right. So I like my acoustic guitars to be bright. So if I'm doing Bloomline, I'm going to do it here. If I'm doing mid-side, I'm going to do it here. All right. So this is basically where the spot is. As far as record usage of mics, large diaphragm condenser is my go-to option. I also use small diaphragm condensers sometimes. I've never used dynamic microphones on acoustic guitars, but if you want to replicate a sound, like, you know, you're recording a Rolling Stones cover band or the Who cover band, their acoustic guitars were always recorded through dynamic microphones. And if you think their music does not have acoustic guitars, I would advise you to listen to them again. Okay.